How many of you also struggle with social anxiety? If you're anything like me or how I used to be, you'll know some of the things that make us tick. It's struggling to meet new people. It's struggling to go to new places. It's fear of rejection, constant judge of self, low self-esteem, low confidence, feeling like you can't contribute to a conversation. These are some of the basic things that I struggled with on a daily basis. I don't struggle with too many of them anymore, but anytime I'm talking about the topic or I start getting into the feelings of how it used to be for me, I start to bring all of those anxious feelings up. And so forgive me if this video is a little bit messed up and all over the place and there's a lot of editing cuts, but before we get into the video, I just wanted to welcome those of you who are new here. Welcome. My name is Bridget and I'm a parent and mindset coach. I also have a free Facebook group called Raising Me While Raising You, and it's an awesome community filled with amazing parents who are likely on the same journey as you are if you've clicked on this video. And if you're not, that's okay too. This group is for parents who are on their personal development journey. We talk about mindset, anxiety, all things mental health. So if any of that interests you, I'm going to leave the link in the description below, and I hope to see you there. And while I still have your attention, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I post videos every single Tuesday and Friday. So with that being said, let's get into the video. Okay, so I've made so many videos on social anxiety and shyness and introverts and selective mutism, and I maybe have exhausted this topic, but YouTube seems to be good with the algorithm and a lot of my videos have been ranking. So I'm gonna make more of these videos because obviously it's what you guys want to see from me. So in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about one of the biggest things that helped me overcome my social anxiety. And for those of you who are new, I'm going to do a brief background of my struggle with social anxiety from when I was a little girl to, my teens, my college, my post-grad life, which is now. So we'll talk about all of it. So when I was about 5 or 6 years old, I was diagnosed with something called selective mutism, which is a pretty rare childhood anxiety disorder in which the child has a phobia to speak. And so my social life growing up was pretty much non-existent. I didn't really talk to anybody besides my parents and my sisters for roughly the first 12 years of my life. So you can imagine how troubling that was as a young girl trying to make friends and, find herself. I actually did have about one or two friends in elementary school, and that kind of got a little bit different in middle school. So I always found myself kind of jumping around friend groups from that time. So making friends was always kind of an issue for me, and sometimes it still is, I'll be honest. But making friends was super hard, and making commitments to people was super hard. I think this is when I started becoming a people pleaser a little bit. Part of that was beliefs from my parents, and part of that was that I always felt like I just had to be the best version of myself because that was the only way people would accept me. So judging myself was always a fear that I had, and that came along with growing up with that anxiety disorder, because one of the keys in that disorder is that you fear being judged all the time. That's your biggest fear, that and failure. So instead of making a mistake, sounding like an idiot, or just saying anything in general, I just wouldn't speak at all because that was the safest bet. And unfortunately, that made me look even more ridiculous. So judgment and fear was something that I always struggled with, and the people pleasing. And so when I started making friends but trying to please those people and started neglecting my commitments, I came into this spiral in my high school that followed me through my college years, where I wasn't really sure who I was. So I was essentially struggling with imposter syndrome, which is one of the biggest things that a lot of people struggle with social anxiety, that you don't even know who you are. It's the best way I can describe it is that sometimes I feel like I'm kind of like floating outside my body and just watching myself go through the motions, especially during a conversation with someone. I feel like I'm almost like holding myself up as a puppet and just kind of catering to what they want me to say. Always in the back of my mind, that feeling where whatever I say that comes next, is it going to make me sound stupid? And so it's like almost that person that's floating over me is like one or two steps ahead and trying to navigate, okay, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? So it's almost like you're never living in the moment. And you can imagine how that affected me as I got out of those years and started trying to figure myself out. Once I started feeling a little bit more confident, I felt like I was starting to find myself. This happened during college. I was making more friends. I was, meeting new people, and I was feeling more confident about my physical appearance. So that kind of helped me feel more confident about my inner appearance. But that was always problematic, as a lot of people who, if you're watching this and you also struggle with social anxiety, you know that we care a lot about our physical appearance because we fear so much that our inner appearance will be judged. So we try to make everything look perfect and hope that no one notices that what we're saying is not sounding stupid. I hope that makes sense. But if you know, you know. And so that was when I started becoming more physically confident about myself. So I felt like I could contribute more in a social setting. And so things started to get a little bit better there. But then again, I found myself in a situation where I wasn't really sure if this was who I wanted to be, or if this person that I was becoming was just a product of my environment and who I thought I needed to be. And that's when I found myself on this whole journey that I've talked about so many times on this channel, this journey I put myself through, where I started writing a ton and reading a ton and talking to the right people and watching all the videos, everything related to self-help. And I wanted to try to figure myself out because I felt like for my whole life, I had just been living it for somebody else. I had never truly questioned what it is that I wanted. And I was just putting expectations after expectations of everybody else before my own. So many people have asked me how I did it, right? Because I struggled so much with selective mutism growing up. And looking at where I am today, everyone's like, you're so different. How did you do it? You kind of just woke up one day and decided to speak. And in part, that's kind of what happened. But when I went on this journey, like I was talking about before, I realized I had been doing something at every stage that I went through. And it was always about changing my mind, so changing my mindset, about a particular thing, whether it was about myself or about my environment. And so the day I decided to stop caring what other people thought was the day that I decided to be myself. The day that I decided to open my mouth and speak and realize that nobody cared. And realized that people wanted to hear what I had to say. That was the day I put myself in the right direction. And so the more that I made those little nuances, that I started changing my perspective, started changing my mind about some of these beliefs that I had conditioned myself to think, I saw more opportunities arise. And I just kept doing it. I just just kept trying to be a little bit more uncomfortable and a little bit more intuitive and inquisitive about myself and about my surroundings. I started talking to strangers. I started to make videos. I started to call people without them having to call me. I started doing more things for myself, going to more places alone, saying things that I would never typically say. And in this process, you kind of start to figure not only more about yourself, but you start to figure out, like what it is that you were missing out on. And you leave that imposter syndrome that you've been living with your entire life. So it's almost as if I've been pretty consistent for the past 6 months, but it was almost as if I had like changed my identity. Like every month I was a different person. I had a different personality. I started experimenting with what I didn't like and what I did like. Right, so my family will probably tell you that I went through a lot of phases. Like I went through my mean phase, I went through my funny phase, I went through my empathetic phase. Like I had all of these personalities that I were trying to figure out. Was like, is this me? Is this not me? So it's really just about having fun with it and changing your mind about some of the things that you previously thought about yourself. And if you make that your mindset, like having fun with it, making it a game, then it won't seem so scary. It's almost like you're playing a video game with yourself. So you're the main character and you're trying to figure out the main character. You're trying to figure out the controls of the character. What does this button do and this button do? And that's the first time I ever made a metaphor like that. But it's really so accurate. That's how I felt like I was doing it. And if you kind of make it like an internal game with yourself, so if you're an introvert, which you probably are, if you struggle with social anxiety, having that mindset could be very helpful. So again, like the one key in all of this, I know this video was a little bit all over the place and I apologize for that, but the one key is truly mindset. Change your own mind. And so I hope this video was helpful for some of you struggling with social anxiety. And I know a lot of people who watch my channel do. And I'm probably going to continue to make videos on this topic because it seems like that's what people want to hear from me. So look out for more of these videos and, topics on other videos that I've done in the past. Those will still be coming. But before I end today's video, I just wanted to announce that spots for my free consult are open. So if you're a parent and you're on your personal development journey, you want to be more confident, have better relationships, I'm going to leave the link in the description below for that free consult. And you'll get a chance to chat with me, see what you're struggling with, see how I can help, and we'll see if we're a good fit. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was helpful and useful as always, and I'll see you next time. Bye.